We are less than 2 weeks away from the start of the new Supercars season, and there is plenty of news still flying around, from that continuing Erebus drama to new rule announcements for the upcoming championship, and of course the new Gen 3 cars being revealed in their brand new war paint as they get ready for their second tour around Australia. I want to chat about all the key headlines that have caught my eye, so let's get stuck into it. Let's kick off with the thing on everybody's lips, and that's of course the dramas down at Erebus after it was announced Erebus Kostecki wouldn't be doing the first round with them in the upcoming championship, and all signs pointing towards a longer term separation between those parties as well. It's a tricky one to talk about because it continues to be shrouded in secrecy, but what we do know is that it's had a huge commercial impact on Erebus, with a number of sponsors, including Coca-Cola, their title sponsor, pulling the plug just weeks out from the start of the new season. And the other side of it, of course, is Erebus Kostecki. He has actually finally been seen in public since all this news broke at the Motorsport Australia Awards. And what was quite promising I took away from that speech was that he said he's still keen to be a multiple Supercars champion. His passion is still in motorsport here in Australia. And I think that might answer a few immediate questions a lot of us had as fans, because I was certainly half expecting him to head off to America and focus his racing career over there. That speech, while of course plenty of things are still to unfold, would suggest he's looking at sticking around a little bit longer, and hopefully we will see him back in a supercar very soon. In other team news, Tickford have announced their new CEO after Tim Edwards, their long-term leader, left to go and fill a management role at Supercars at the end of last season. Their new CEO is Simon Brookhouse, who I must admit I hadn't heard of before this announcement, purely because if it's a sport without wheels and an engine, I don't normally pay attention to it. But Simon does appear to have lots of experience in the sporting landscape, particularly in golf and basketball, and looks like a strong addition, strong leader for that team. Based on his background and just very early impressions, I get the idea that maybe he's going to be a bit more of a Zach Brown figure like we see in Formula One, where he kind of takes care of the commercial side of things and maybe not quite as hands-on at the track. He might delegate that responsibility to someone else, but time will tell. And of course, there's plenty of experience down in that Tickford team. On the rules sides of things, we have had two very big ticket items confirmed for the upcoming season. The first of which is the introduction of a full course yellow, or the virtual safety car as some might know it. This is of course where not a physical safety car comes out and bunches up the pack, but instead the cars are reduced to a certain speed limit, and in theory the spaces between those cars should be the same when they restart as they were at the time of the caution coming out. Now, this one, I'm very torn. On one side, the safety side of things, I absolutely support this move, because this has been a very dangerous aspect of supercars for some time now, where a lot of drivers race to catch the safety car, sometimes going past major incidents on track with debris around, perhaps marshals or the driver still on track as well. Having cars go past incidents like that at full racing speed is just so dangerous. So I am relieved that they brought in a solution for that, because it has been a horrific accident waiting to happen. But on the entertainment side of things, I do love myself a full safety car. I know that it can throw strategy out the window. It can sometimes actually result in drivers being robbed of an otherwise perfect performance, and they just get unlucky with the safety car. But for me, I love that unpredictability of motorsport. I love the fact that it can be turned on its head so quickly. It's what keeps me watching when someone's 20 seconds off down the road in the lead. And for me, I think the good compromise, if possible, that I would like to see is that they use the full course yellow initially to neutralize the field and stop that dangerous speeding past an incident. But then once the field is controlled, they actually then deploy the full safety car, which we often see in Formula One as well. And that way you can still bunch up the field and get a nice exciting restart with the field all in one place. Obviously, safety cars, they can be incredibly complex. I'm sure there's a few issues with what I propose there as well. The second big rule that has been confirmed for the upcoming season is that co-drivers will not be allowed to start the Bathurst 1000. The primary driver that we see at the other events throughout the year must be in the car when the green flag drops at the mountain. Now, originally I thought this argument was born out of a safety perspective, in the sense that co-drivers don't usually have as much experience in the cars as the main drivers, but I personally never felt that that lack of experience or match fitness resulted in an unnecessary amount of risk. For me, there's always going to be accidents, especially at a place like Bathurst. no matter who you have in the car. But it actually sounds like this rule has been introduced more from a commercial perspective, where they are keen for the stars of the category, the primary drivers, to be in the cars at the start of that race, because that's when you have the maximum number of eyeballs and potentially new or casual fans as well tuning into supercars that might not at any other stage of the season. And I do get that to a certain degree. If you're trying to get into the sport and you see a bunch of names you don't recognize at the next event, that would make it a bit hard to follow and connect with and understand. But at the same time, I feel like we really are losing sort of a strategic element of the race that I think pays dividends further into the event, and lots of strategic options that can result in cars that had a poor qualifying, fight their way back through the field a lot quicker if they have their primary driver going up against most of the co-drivers. But nevertheless, I'm willing to give this one a go. I also feel like sometimes a lot of the co-drivers are extra cautious during that opening stint of the race, so who knows, this might give us a bit more of an aggressive start as well to this year's Bathurst 1000. Details continue to come to light as well with the final configuration of the Gen 3 cars for the upcoming season. Obviously 2023 was marred with a bunch of parity issues and reliability issues with the Gen 3 machines. We're seeing lots of improvements across the board coming into the upcoming season, but the big ticket item in terms of parity seems to be making progress. Firstly, Aero tweaks, the result of those from the wind tunnel testing seems to sort of be coming to light now, and that's suggesting that the cars are getting a fraction more downforce, which I was a bit nervous about, but most of the drivers seem to think that it's only a marginal gain and it should actually improve the raceability of the cars overall. So that's a tick in my book, and once again, excited to see how that plays out on the racetrack. The other side of things, which isn't so conclusive at the moment, is engine testing, which is still ongoing, and it sounds like they won't have things fully locked in for the opening round, although hopefully things are in a pretty good spot, if not final. They will be running demo runs this weekend at the Bathurst 12-hour with a couple of supercars to do some further on-track testing at the same time, and Bathurst is a great location to do that. It's a unique opportunity with that 12-hour event already running. They can put some cars on the track between some of the official sessions and get some real-life data and see where those cars are starting to fall into, and hopefully that means that's only minor tweaks to paritize the two engines. To start wrapping things up, Christmas has come early for me, with it being announced the hard tyre will be used at the Bathurst 500 in a couple of weekends' time. This was one of the 3 items on my wish list for supercars in 2024, and I've already been able to check one off the list, and it's really important to me because I do feel like the hard tyre is the better choice around the mountain, and I feel the soft tyre being used at 2023's Bathurst 1000 played a big role in the dull racing that we saw. It's a shame, in my opinion, that we're doing a sprint event at Bathurst to start the season. I do think Bathurst should be reserved purely for the 1000 in supercars, but the positive side of it is that they do have this opportunity to test the hard tyre in racing conditions and hopefully compare which one might be better for this year's great race. I strongly suspect we'll see the hard tyre rolled out in October as well, but time will tell. And then finally, it's of course a great and fun time of year where we get to see the war paints for the upcoming season. We've had some great liveries unveiled so far. I'm a big fan of the Walkinshaw and Andretti United cars. I particularly love Ryan Wood's machine with the orange flares. I think that looks fantastic and will really stand out on track and on TV as well. In the Camaro camp, I really like the Mark Winterbottom livery. I think that's a much bolder rendition of what we saw last year with the DeWalt entry. And then my absolute favorite, as it often is year after year, is the Penrite cars. The Penrite Mustangs look absolutely fantastic. I don't think we've ever had a bad Penrite livery. They look outstanding once again, and can't wait to see those cars hit the track. Let me know which liveries have stood out to you, any that disappointed you. For me, I'm struggling to connect a little bit with the Matt Stone Racing livery. They look a little bit cluttered for my liking, but nevertheless, they will certainly stand out on track, and I'm sure we've got some new and exciting liveries still yet to be revealed. But that will wrap up today's news video, and I am working on 2 more pieces of content for you before the season starts, one of which I'm up against the clock on, but that is a full season preview, and the second one, which I'll definitely be delivering no matter what time I have on my hands, and that's of course the Bathurst 500 preview. And if you are new around here, I do round previews, reviews, and plenty of news videos just like this one for every round of the Supercars Championship. So if you want to be part of that and follow me throughout this upcoming season, be sure to like like this video and hit subscribe so you get notified when I release new content. In the meantime, thank you for checking out this video. Treat people like your trackside in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.